Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the course of language acquisition or second language acquisition. Before we talk further, it's better for me to explain that language acquisition, discussions of language acquisition actually is a discussion in a branch of linguistics so-called psycholinguistics. Linguistics has got branches. One of them is psycholinguistics, and language acquisition is a sub-branch of psycholinguistics. Besides language acquisition, another sub-branches of psycholinguistics is neurolinguistics. Before we talk further about language acquisition, I think it is better for us to talk about what is meant by neurolinguistics. Okay. What is psycholinguistics, everybody? Psycholinguistics is a discussion about the relation between language, between linguistics and psychology. Okay? What is psychology? Psychology is a discussion about human mental and behavior. Neurology is a branch of psychology. What is neurology? Neurology is a discussion about human brain. And then what is neurolinguistics? Neurolinguistics is a discussion about the relation between neurology and linguistics. Okay, let's come to neurolinguistics. But before that, let's go back to the year of 1860s when someone called Paul Broca, okay, Paul Broca was a surgeon, okay. So at that time, Dr. Paul Broca had an operation dealing with a patient who had an accident, and there was a damage in the patient's head. Paul Broca pointed out, found out that after the surgery, after the operation, the patient had got problem with the language production. Okay, so he had problem with the production of his language. But before the accident, the man was okay. And then Paul Broca came to the hypothesis that the damage happening to a certain part of our brain is related to the production of language. And then he hypothesized that, he named that area as a Broca's area. 10 years later, another surgeon called Karl Wernicke also had an operation, has surgery. He was dealing with a patient that before the operation he was okay with his language, but after the operation, so the patient had problem with his understanding. That became the base for Wernicke to claim that a damage in a certain area, which is called Wernicke's area, is dealing with the ability of someone's of comprehending language sound. So far, so we already get informed that in our brain there are certain part which is called Broca's area, which is related to the phenomenon of language production. And there is also another part in our brain which is called Wernicke's area, and this area is dealing with the language comprehension. Okay. Dealing with the neurolinguistics again. let's say, when someone asks, for example, I ask Michelle, for example, Michelle, what is your hobby? And then Michelle replied, my hobby is singing, sir. What happened when the teacher asked the student? So there is a what you call that wave coming to Michelle's ears, and then there is a decoder in Michelle's ears, and then the signal was sent to the Wernicke's area, not Broca's area yet. Okay, the signal is sent to the Wernicke's area, and then Michelle understand that, oh, my teacher asked me about my hobby. Okay, so far you get you understand that. Okay, so the wavelength came to Michelle's ear, and then from the ear the signal was sent by the nerves to Michelle's Wernicke's area, and then Michelle understand that because there is no problem with Michelle's Wernicke's area. After that, the signal of understanding was sent to Broca's area through through the arcuate fasciculus. Arcuate fasciculus are nerves relating Wernicke's area to Broca's area. Okay, and then because Michelle is a nice student, so she has got willingness to answer her teacher's question, and then the Broca's area plays its role to answer, to produce language. Okay, and then the Broca's area asks Michelle's speech organ to answer the teacher's questions. My hobby is singing, sir. Okay, and then the Broca's area. So why Michelle's speech production could produce that? Because the Broca's area give instruction to the speech organ to the nerves called arcuate fasciculus. You can see that the process is not that simple. Oh, let's say, for example, Michelle has got some problem with her speech organ, and then she decided not to answer it orally, but she answered me writtenly. My hobby is singing, sir. So I think the similar thing happened. The Broca's area asked not to the speech organ, but the Broca's area asked Michelle's fingers to answer, to produce the language, to produce the written language instead of the oral language. If Michelle uses the what you call it speech organ, it means that the Broca's area asks the speech organ to produce the language. Okay, everybody, pay attention to the notions of neurolinguistics which are dealing with Broca's area, Wernicke's area, motor cortex, arcuate fasciculus. Okay, and then when we are talking about neurology, when we are talking about neurolinguistics, there is a phenomenon of aphasia. Okay, so at least there are two kinds of aphasia, and there is some other kind of aphasia. So Broca's aphasia, what is aphasia, everybody? Aphasia is a problem of language production and comprehension. So I think you have experience finding someone who was okay before the accident or before the stroke attack. Okay, so he or she was okay, but after the what you call that the stroke attack, so he or she couldn't produce the language what you call that properly. So because the part of his or her brain was damaged, especially the Broca's area. Okay, and then there is also, perhaps you experienced that there was someone who was okay before the accident, but after the accident, actually he or she could speak what you call that appropriately, but when you ask ask him or ask her to communicate. So there is problem with his or her comprehension. Okay, his or her ability in comprehending your utterance is not as good as before he or she got an accident. So she got what you call that Wernicke's aphasia. Okay, yeah. Let's continue dealing with the what you call that the phenomenon of perceiving people's utterance and also dealing with our brain. There is a phenomenon of dichotic listening, everybody. In Indonesian language, I will sing a song dealing with the dichotic listening in Indonesian language. Listen carefully. Dua telinga saya, yang kiri dan kanan, yang tiap-tiapnya punya fungsi berbeda. Yeah, we have got two ears, everybody. Left ear and right ear. Each of them has got different roles. Right ear is dealing with perceiving segmental sounds. Okay. Meanwhile, left ear has got its main function to perceive the suprasegmental features, the duration, the stress, the length, and that is the reason why if you find a conductor in a choir team and then there is arrangements of soprano, alto, tenor, and bass, usually the main melody is sung by soprano. That is the reason why soprano should be arranged closer to the left ear of the conductor. And then if the choir needs a piano, for example, and the piano should be placed to the left of the conductor, because the main functions of the left ear is to perceive the suprasegmental features. Meanwhile, right ear is dealing, the main role of the right ear is dealing with perceiving segmental sounds, consonant, vowels, and diphthongs. Okay. Yeah. After this, let me tell you about language and human. So if you study psychology, you will be dealing with the what you call that development, humans development. And then one of the discussion in human development is language development. Let's talk about language development, everybody. Okay? So everybody has got a language. Everybody has got his or first language. First language, second language. We are going to talk about it later. Now, we are going to talk about first language, second language, other languages, foreign languages later. Let's talk about first language. So, someone has got his or her first language. And the question is, when does someone start getting the language? Okay, now getting here, so in language acquisition called acquire language. In my opinion, based on Islamic education, someone starts his or her life when he or she is 4-month-old in his or her mommy's womb. Okay, that is the reason why Muslims, some Muslims have got a selamatan when the pregnancy of someone is already 4 months old, right? Why? Because Muslims believe that when a baby is already 4 months in his or her mom's womb, the life begins. And dealing with language, starting from that time, the baby, which is still inside, starts getting or acquiring language. Okay. That is the reason why I really advise the father-to-be whose husband is pregnant, please give good language input to your baby inside. Okay? Because the language which will be produced by the children later really depends on the language input given to the environment. Okay. The process of language acquisition continuously happen until the baby was born. When the baby is born, until the baby is born. When the baby is born, the process of acquiring the language, the process of listening continues. And then, after the birth, the baby starts to produce the language, which is called speaking. But because the baby's speech organ is not ready yet, of course, he or she cannot speak like what we do. So the baby starts from going. In Indonesian, it is called mendekut or berdekut. So it is happening from the baby was born until he or she is about 3 months old. The language acquisition happens. The development of the language continues. When the baby is about 6 months old, she or he practices babbling. In Indonesian, we call it mengoceh. Okay? When it continues, and when the baby is about 1 year, so he or she is already at 1 word stage. He or she can produce ma, pa, mam. Okay. Let's continue. When the baby is already 1.5 years, 18 months, he or she is already in the level or in the states of 2 word states. So in Indonesian language, in Indonesian, a baby can say ma, mam, ma, mam. So it is two words utterance, right? You can get well informed by reading the stages of language acquisition later. And then when the baby is already 2.5 years, 30 months, the baby is already in the level of multi-word stage. So the baby, or not the baby anymore, right? The child is already developing his or herself, okay, to produce language with the structure of adults, okay, but with the simple syntactic structures, of course. And then the syntactic structures develops as he or she develops physically, okay, until he or she reaches the until the child reaches puberty. Dealing with language acquisition, which is different from language learning. Okay, we are going to talk it further later. In psychology, in psycholinguistics, in language acquisition, there is an important notion which is called critical period hypothesis. Critical period. Okay, critical period. What is critical period? A period or a time when someone can get the language, can acquire the language, can learn the language effectively. When? In the critical period. When? Lenneberg, in his hypothesis, points out that critical period happens from the baby was born, and I think not from the baby was born, right? From the baby start his life or her life in his mother's womb until he or she gets puberty. Why? Before the puberty, a child is still in his unreal world. But after the puberty, a boy or a girl starts his real life. What do I mean by real life? So the boy or the girl starts having problems in his or her life. The love problems, the social problems, blah, 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 blah. But before the puberty, children haven't got any problem. Okay, so that is, I think, the reason why children is a good language learner. In this case, we can say that children is a good language acquirer. Okay, everybody? I think there are still some other notions, some important notions that I can explain to you, but because of the very limited time, so that's all for today, for this session. I do really hope that you can repeat this material with your presentation, and please give additional, please contract, please what you call that, summarize what I am telling you today. You don't have to repeat all things. What you have to do in this next week is retelling what I have told in simpler way, and then please give additional information that I miss, the information that you can get from the readings, in order that our discussion is getting clearer and clearer for your comprehension. Everybody, thank you very much for paying attention to this video. Please prepare your presentation next week. The last word from me is Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.